across several buyers lately that aren't working with a realtor. There are tons of reasons why it's in your best interest to work with a realtor when you are buying a home. I'm not going to go into all of them right now. Instead, I'm going to share with you the story of a recent home sale that will help you understand how realtors watch out for their clients' best interests. I'm Nancy Karp, and I'm a residential realtor on Chicago's North Shore. Recently, I was representing sellers of a home. The home's a bit unusual, so it wasn't selling as quickly as many homes have been over the past few years. We did have a steady stream of interested buyers, and there was this one couple that came to see the home several times. The first time they came with a broker, the next time they contacted me directly to see the home, and then they sent some friends to see the home, and then they came back again with their parents. So they were clearly interested in the house, and as I learned after talking with them all these times, it was a good fit for their family. Again, I asked if they were working with a broker, and they said no. They didn't really know the broker that brought them the first time. So I offered to refer them to a good broker to assist in their purchase, but they never took me up on that offer. During the time that they were trying to decide what to do, interest rates went up multiple times. If they had been working with a broker, I'm sure the broker would have encouraged them to put in an offer sooner and start the process, because it was clear that interest rates were going to continue to climb. Instead, they just kept coming back to see the house, and they didn't take any action. I knew that this house was a good fit for them, so I proposed to my sellers that we submit an offer to the buyers. And yes, this is something you can do if you have buyers who are on the fence. We did this, and once again, I suggested that they work with a broker, or I told them they could have an attorney negotiate for them. So they opted to work with a real estate attorney. The negotiation, however, lasted several weeks. If another broker had been involved, the negotiation probably would have been completed in a matter of a few days. The slow pace was so frustrating to the sellers that it made them less flexible on the terms. So now the buyers lost out on a better interest rate and also probably lost out on getting the terms that they preferred on the contract. Now let's fast forward to the closing. The contract calls for a final walkthrough of the property prior to the closing. This allows the buyers an opportunity to verify that the home's in the same condition as when they last saw it, and that the sellers have moved all their personal property out and fixed anything that might have been agreed upon. Most of the time, this is just a formality, though on some walkthroughs that I've done with my buyers, we've found garbage, damage to the property, or other issues. The buyers then negotiate a credit or some type of concession for these issues at the closing. These buyers elected not to do a final walkthrough. There was no realtor advising them. The closing followed a few days of very cold winter temperatures. I was at the property before the Arctic blast kicked in, and I left the water dripping in a couple of faucets as I was instructed by the seller. The closing was completed without a hitch, but when the buyers arrived at their new home, they found that a pipe had burst and there was water on the floor of the laundry room. While no one knows for sure when the pipe burst, if the buyers had done a final walkthrough and the pipe was already burst, this would have been addressed at the closing. Maybe the closing would have been postponed until the issue was resolved. Maybe the buyers would have gotten a credit for repairs. We'll never know. According to the seller's lawyer, the buyer has no recourse in this situation. These particular sellers were nice enough to not only recommend a plumber, but they paid the plumber for fixing the broken pipe. Now, if these buyers were working with a realtor, they would not have skipped the walkthrough and they wouldn't have had to pay for the cleanup and other repairs. So now let's review what happened. Because they didn't work with a realtor, number one, their monthly payments are going to be higher due to the increased interest rates. And two, because the negotiation dragged on and my sellers were getting pissed off, quite frankly, they may have paid more for the house because the sellers were frustrated with the slow price. And number 3, if they had done their final walkthrough, which a realtor would have recommended, they may have avoided having to pay for the water damage at the property. I know some of you watching this might be wondering why I didn't just represent the buyers as well. While this is legal, it is frowned upon. When the broker is representing both sides, they really aren't representing anyone. We can't advise you in these situations. We can only take your instructions. I want to be able to give my clients the benefit of my knowledge and expertise. So the bottom line is, to get the best outcome for your real estate purchase or sale, use a realtor. I'm Nancy Karp with Karp Residential. Thank you so much for watching.